Okay, so as you can see here, this is the Japanese Sega Saturn. This is the Japanese 6-button controller, and this is the 3D Sega Saturn controller. And today, we're going to be using this controller right here. And we are going to be playing a little game known as Mobile Suit Gundam. I believe this is the first Gundam game that released on Sega Saturn. Let's see if I can bring this CD up here. Now, as you can see, the CD looks very, very bland and plain. Now, I previously reviewed Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story number 1. So let's see how good this game is. As you can see, there's a lot of text on here. You have to squint your eyes to read all that stuff. The camera can't even make out what it says. Terrible, terrible CD art, in my opinion. Kind of makes me not want to play it, but we're going to check it out. Let's pop this bad boy in here and see what happens. Okay, so here we have the Japanese Sega Saturn startup. Surprised the battery didn't come up dead this time. Produced or licensed by Sega of, I believe it said Japan, I'm not sure. It's the Bandai startup, as you can see right there. Mobile Suit Gundam. Are you getting excited? Usually, Gundam games are really, really awesome. Let's check out the option menu. This gives you a little idea of how you play the game. You can tell by the controls, it looks kind of complicated because you're using all 6 buttons, plus shoulder buttons. So you're going to have to remember all of that. Let's see if we can start this game. Now this game, unlike the other Gundam game, has a whole lot of cutscenes. So basically it's like half movie, half game.
地球の周りには巨大なスペースコロニーが数百機浮かび、人々はその円筒の内壁を人工の大地とした。その人類の第二の故郷で人々は子を産み育て、そして死んでいった。宇宙世紀0079、地球から最も遠い宇宙都市サイド3はジオン公国を名乗り、地球連邦政府に独立戦争を挑んできた。この1ヶ月余りの戦いでジオン公国と連邦軍は総人口の半数を死に至らしめた。人々は自らの行為に恐怖した。戦争は膠着状態に入り、8ヶ月余りが過ぎた。
As you can see, a lot of the game is in Japanese with no English subtitles, which is the downfall. But if you know what they're saying, or if you have an idea of what they're saying, and you're a fan of the Gundam anime series, then you will probably enjoy this game very much, because there's a lot of anime in here. To be quite honest, I never watched any of these animes before, but I think the artwork is amazing. Now, one thing I really like about the game is how the cutscenes in the game tie into each other. Let's wait and see. Bandai found a way of taking the animation of the cutscenes and transition it right into the gameplay, which is really cool. Here we have stage number 1.
ガンダム大地に立つ。
見てろよザクメ。
デニム総長、敵のモビルスーツが動き出しました。攻撃します。
Now, before you even play the game, there's a whole lot of talking. Kind of reminds me of Mega Man on Super Nintendo.
やってやる。いくらそこが熱くたって。
Finally, you get to kick some ass.
やったのか。
Now, that wasn't so bad. That was
ザ
pretty
クを
cool.
倒したのは君か。それが本当なら我々に協力してもらいたい。
なんで僕がそんなことを。
パイロットがいない。頼む。
やるしかないんですね。
そういうことだ。君が生き延びることを望むのならな。ガンダムを搭載した新鋭戦艦ホワイトベースはサイドセブンを出港した。それはアムロたちにとって数奇な運命への船出だったと言ってよい。
Yeah, as mentioned before, there's a lot of cutscenes.
ドッキングベイ出ます。
ミノフスキー粒子、戦闘ノードでの散布急げ。
高熱源体接近。
キャッチした。
As you can see here, you can almost play like asteroids with your Gundam. You shoot the asteroids, break them apart.
続いて第2発ます。さらに敵モビルスーツ部隊接近中。気をつけてください。
So this game went from being a side-scroller shoot 'em up to a bullet hell. And you know those bullet hells, shoot 'em up bullet hell games where you're in a spaceship, you have to, like R-Type type of thing. So far the game is actually not that bad. The only thing is, you have to really know what buttons to push because there's a lot of different button configurations on this game. It's a lot more harder than the other Gundam game I reviewed. And this right here must be a miniature boss.
シャアだ。赤い彗星だ。逃げろ。見せてもらおうか。連邦軍のモビルスーツの性能とやらを。
Oh, as mentioned before, they tie the animation from the cutscenes directly into the gameplay, which is really, really cool. See, that was pretty cool too. They had a little animation of the character pop up on half the screen. You can actually just see the mouth move in. So even though this might not be the greatest Gundam game, there's a lot of creativity in this game.
地球連邦軍の宇宙における唯一の拠点、ルナ2。入港したホワイトベースは基地司令ワッケインに門前払いさながらの命令を受けた。避難民を乗せたまま南米ジャブローへ向かえというのである。一方シャア少佐も追撃を諦めたわけではなかった。大気圏突入の感激を縫いホワイトベースの撃破を目論んでいたのである。本艦はこれより大気圏に突入する。ガンダム発進してザクの足を止めろ。
高度には気をつけて。そうしないと大気圏で燃え尽きるわよ。
戦ってる最中に気をつけられると思っているんですか。
あなたならできるわ。
おだてないでください。
カタパルトへ。
アムロ行きます。
Oh, that was pretty cool. So Gundams are like the Japanese version of Transformers, except they don't transform. I assume, I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but any giant robot games or animation is pretty cool, in my opinion.
アムロ、ザックをホワイトベースに近づけるな。
敵艦が接近しているわ。メガ粒子砲に注意して。
了解。
We have a lot of stuff going on at once on the foreground and the background, and right on the main part of the game right there, you have a lot of enemies flying over the place. It's not that easy to lock onto them. It's the only thing that I can complain about, but locking onto the enemies is a little difficult. Definitely not as good as Gundam Side Story #1 on Sega Saturn, which I previously reviewed. But if you can get the hang of this game, it's actually not that bad. Some people I've read some people said that this game sucks, but it's still fun to me, even though it's not the greatest.
シャーメン。
So you have to definitely know what you're doing. As you can see, there's a huge fighting part of the game going on right now between my Gundam and this other Gundam that just got his ass kicked. Now he's running away. And now right now I'm falling down into Earth. This game came out in '95, so for '95 standards, this game is very creative, and you know, the graphics are actually not that bad for '95.
間に合うのか。冷却シフト、耐熱フィールド。
大気圏突入に成功したホワイトベース、そしてガンダム。しかし
I also find it amazing that the Sega Saturn can cut between the gameplay and the cutscenes so fast with no loading screens.
淡々と彼らを狙っていたのだ。
So I remember when I played PlayStation games, that the cutscenes had to load for a few seconds before they popped up on the screen. While on the Saturn, they just come up right away.
ひどいものだな。そんなにすごいのか。
そちらにおびき込みがした。君の手柄にするんだな。
よし、そのご好意はいただこう。ガウ攻撃空母で迎え撃つ。緊急出動だ。はっ。
I have no idea what the hell they just said, but something's going down. Stage 3.
ガルマ吸収。
Now this thing right here, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here, so I'm gonna skip that.
敵の主力は航空隊よ。空からの攻撃に注意して。
So this is another difficulty where you have to lock onto these things that are flying. And you have to manage to protect yourself on both sides. This game is definitely as challenging.
敵航空母艦の反応が近づいてるよ。気をつけて。
I'm not quite sure how to lock onto an enemy in the foreground because it a few seconds ago, but I'm just not sure how I did it. Did it by accident. But if I was to try it again, I'd probably have difficulty doing it. As I mentioned before, this game is for probably the more hardcore Gundam fan instead of like the casual. The person that likes the Gundam video games, it's probably not the game for you. It's probably more for the person that likes the anime and doesn't mind having a mediocre game. This is like half movie, half game. If you're a fan of anime in general, then you probably will enjoy this game because there's a lot of cool anime in it. Now, it looks like to me that when they made this game, just the way the game looks, it looks like it doesn't have like anime style. It looks like it has like pre-rendered 3D looking models or something. Kind of like what Nintendo or what Rare did with Donkey Kong. It has that type of look to it. Like pre-rendered sprites. I could be wrong though. Like you see, I just got like a continuation screen because I died. So stage 3 for me is not that easy. Here's your operation map, which I have no idea what the hell that is because I don't read Japanese. I wish I could, but I can't. If you had the ability to read Japanese, there'd be so many more games you could play. It'd be ridiculous. So you can see locking onto things are not quite as easy as it looks. Like that guy right there in the foreground, I don't know exactly how to lock onto him. You have to fight him with a sword. There's a lot of things going on at once. You have to watch your energy and your armor just to make sure. The lock-on has like its own little bar on the side up there. You have to hold down the lockdown button to try not to get hit. Now this guy right here you have to try to take out. Right, as you see, he took me out instead. You can also save it, I guess, which is interesting. But we're gonna end it right here. Like I said before, if you guys are like hardcore Gundam fans or anime fans, you probably would enjoy this game because it has a lot of cutscenes in it from the animation.